Okay, so what I've done first is I've gone onto the internet and I've downloaded some images that I'm going to use in my maze game. Now, as you can see, my maze game is going to be about The Simpsons. That's the theme. You'll notice that I've downloaded all the images and I've given them a useful or sensible file name. Okay, so let's go back to Scratch. Right, once you open Scratch, this is what you see. There are different parts to the Scratch interface. This area here, where the cat is, this is called a stage, and this is where everything will happen in the game as we start to use the program. On the right side here, this grey area is for where we're going to be building or programming our characters. And to program our characters, we're going to be using all of these different script blocks in the center. And I'll demonstrate how that is going to work in a few minutes. Just a couple of things to help you with. Over here we have an icon which will make our game go full screen so we can see what we're doing a bit easier. If you want to go back to the normal view, you just hit escape on your keyboard. And down on the right here we've got zoom in and zoom out, which will be very helpful when we're writing our scripts. Okay, so to get started, I'm just going to explain how the screen area works. You'll notice that down here we've got X and Y coordinates. When I move the mouse pointer around, you can see the coordinates will change. And just to show you how that actually works, I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration. So basically how it works is Scratch is organized in an X and Y grid system. The cat is now in the very center, so you can see his coordinates will be 0, 0. However, as I move the cat to the left, you can see the X coordinates go into the minus figures. As I move them to the right, the X coordinates go into the positive or plus figures. As I move the cat up, the Y coordinates increase. As I move the cat down, the Y coordinates decrease. So that's basically how we're going to be moving our characters around on the stage, using X and Y coordinates. Okay, I'm just going to delete that and go back to the start. Right, so first of all I want to remove the cat because he's not going to be in The Simpsons. So to remove the cat, I'm just going to shift click on the sprite. Each character is called a sprite. So I shift click on the cat sprite and just click delete. Now he's gone. Okay, so my next step is I want to actually upload my Simpsons characters. Now to do that, I'm going to use this upload icon here. If I wanted to use characters that are already in Scratch, I would just use this icon here to choose a sprite from the library. And you can see there are many sprites. However, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to cancel. So to upload my own sprites, I click upload sprite from file. And then it asks me where the sprite is. So I need to just find my folder. And here's all of my folder, all of my scripts here. So I'm going to drag all of them and click open. Okay, you'll notice that they have all appeared down here. And they've also appeared on the stage. Okay, so I can make them a little bit smaller by using this symbol up here, which is the shrink tool. So I'm just going to click on the shrink tool and I'm just going to resize these sprites because they're too large at the moment. Then I can just move it out of the way, shrink tool again. I'm going to do the same for all of these different characters. Notice we also have an enlarge tool that we can use also. The enlarge tool is here. This is the shrink tool. It does take a little bit of time just to get this all set up. And you'll notice Bart is not wearing any clothes. Ooh, slightly too small. and Sideshow Bob is the last one. Okay, so these are all the characters I'm going to be using during my game. Okay, so next what I need to do is, if I actually click on one of my sprites down here and then I go to costume, I can actually see what my graphic looks like. Now this is where the zoom in and zoom out can become useful. Now you'll notice we've got this white area around the sprite. I want to remove that, so I'm going to use the paint bucket tool, or the fill with color tool, and I'm going to choose transparency, which is the white with the red line going through. If I click that and then I click on the white area, it will basically fill that white area with transparency. So I'm going to quickly do that for all of my sprites. To zoom out on Maggie a little bit. There we go, and actually I need to shrink her a little bit still. Oops. Okay, if you make a mistake you can just do Command Z or else Edit on Delete. Okay, that's brought my cat back, so I need to delete him. And okay, we won't worry too much about Maggie for now. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete Maggie, and then I'm just going to upload her again, but I can do that later. Okay, so let's take a look then at some of the rest of my costumes. So Smithers is okay. So Bart obviously needs a little bit of work, so let's use the, there we go. And you notice it's got a black line going around it also, so I'm just going to use the eraser tool. You can change the size of the eraser tool down here, and it's going to make it a little bigger, and then I'm just going to erase the black line because I don't want that to be in the way. Okay, now I'm just doing this quickly, but you can probably do it a little bit with a little bit more care when you're doing it. Just make that a little bit smaller. Okay, and up top also. Okay, that's good enough for now. We need to do something similar with Homer, so here we go. Mr. Burns is okay. Marge also needs the same. Lisa is okay. And last of all, there we go, perfect. Okay, so now I have set up all of my different sprites and I've removed all of the white backgrounds. Okay, my next step is to actually make some kind of a maze in the background. Now, so to do that, I'm going to be using this backdrop area. So I can upload or choose a backdrop that we've already got, lots of them here. However, I want to do a maze, and I want to draw my own maze. So I'm going to choose this icon here, which is Paint New Backdrop. So if I click on that, so here's my backdrop over here, and I'm just going to use the line tool. You can resize the line width, and then you just click and drag. It should make a line. So I need to change the color to black first of all. So I click and drag. Okay, now if you want to make the line go exactly straight, you just press down the Shift key and hold the Shift key down. That will make an exact straight line. So I'm just going to make a very basic maze here. Okay, so we can see the start and we can see the finish. And I'm just going to draw some very simple lines just to give you an example. You can make it as detailed as you want. Okay, that will do for now, you get the idea. So that is my backdrop. Okay, so let's actually get some coding done to make this actually work. So my main character, I'm going to use Bart as my main character. So I now need to use the scripting blocks to make the game actually work, to program the game. So when I start my game, I want Bart to kind of start over here. Now as I move the mouse, you can see that the coordinates of X and Y are changing. So if I just position Bart in the right place, I can see the X coordinate is about minus 200 and the Y is about minus 150. So remember, minus 200, minus 150. So what I'm going to do first is when my game is started, so you click the green flag to start the game. When the game is started, I'm going to position, so I've got my Bart sprite selected, so all of this code I'm doing now is going to be programming this sprite. So when the green flag is clicked, I want Bart to go to, and I said it's roughly minus 200 and roughly minus 150. So every time I start the game, Bart is going to go over here. Okay, so next of all I want to move Bart, and I want to move him using the arrow keys. So I'm going to do, when the right arrow is clicked, I want Bart to move to the right. So how do I move to the right? Well, right and left we're talking about the x-axis. Up and down we're talking about y. So when the right arrow is clicked, I want to change x by 10. So now if I press the right arrow on my keyboard, you can see Bart is going to the right. Okay, I'm going to do the same now for when the left arrow is pressed. So when left arrow is pressed, and this time I want to make him go left, so it's still on the x-axis, but I want him to go left. So if change x by 10 makes him go right, we'll change x by minus 10 make him go left. So now Bart can go left and Bart can go right. So we need to do this again for up and down. Now instead of dragging out all of the blocks separately, I can shift click on this block and duplicate. Duplicate means copy. Okay? And I can do that as many times as I want. So this time, so let's duplicate that again. So this time now I want to go when the up arrow is pressed. Now when the up arrow is pressed, I won't be changing X, I'll be changing Y. I'll be changing Y by 10. So now when the up arrow is pressed, Bart moves up. And last of all, when the down arrow is pressed, and I can shift click and duplicate this block, and minus 10. So now what happens is Bart will go left, right, up and down. This is the code or the script for making Bart do that. Now remember this script here, when I click the green flag, Bart should go back to the beginning. So click the green flag, he goes back to the beginning, and now I can program him to move around. So it's very simple. Okay, now I still have a problem because at the moment Bart can just cheat and skate through the walls, and that's not really what I want to happen. So what I need to do is I need to program Bart so that he can't go through the walls. So the easiest way to do that is to say, again I can say when the green flag is clicked, so this means from when the game starts. When the green flag is clicked, I'm going to say that forever if touching the color black. So remember, this script is on Bart, so I'm saying that once the green flag is clicked, I want the computer to forever keep checking if the Bart sprite is touching the black color. Okay, so if it's touching the black color, then what do I want to happen? Well, if it's touching the black color, I just want Bart to go back to the beginning. And we know to put him back to the beginning, just like up here, it should be minus 200 and minus 150. So now what happens once I click the green flag, the game is started. If I touch the black line, Bart goes back to the beginning. So now that means that my game works a bit better because now I have to try and get Bart